Hello everyone and welcome to the Magic Show where you must be in it to win it. As always, I'm Jake and today I'll be going over my Etali Primal Conqueror deck. The moment this new Etali was spoiled, I knew I'd build the deck eventually. I'm a little late to the party, but I still hope you enjoyed today's brew. Etali is a 7/7 for 5 red with trample, and whenever it enters the battlefield, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells exiled this way without paying their mana cost. Oh, and I almost forgot. You can pay 9 or 10 mana depending on your life total to turn Etali into a freaking Blightsteel. Not just any Blightsteel, but one without Infect, so it deals combat damage and applies poison counters to the defending player because of its ability. As Blightsteel Colossus is my favorite magic card, this was meant to be. However, transforming Etali is not the focal point of this deck. I came into this with one clear objective, and that is to get as many Etali ETB triggers as humanly possible. I want to play my deck and my opponent's decks at the same time. My goal is to win a game with an opponent's cardboard. That would be hilarious. The main strategy in this deck is to get off as many ETB triggers as I can. How can we achieve this, you might ask? With plenty of cards that make token copies of the commander, along with a couple of cards that double its triggered ability. Now, the ramp in this deck is very important as we want to get the Etali party started ASAP. Luckily, in Gruul, you have a multitude of spells that tap for mana, tutor your lands, or even generate you fast mana. As seen in many green decks, I've included 3 Visits, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth. As seen in not so many green decks, we have Sky Shroud Claim, but it's a fantastic 4 mana spell that gets you 2 lands. In the forms of creatures, we also have Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halfling, Gwenna Eyes of Gaia, and Fanatic of Ronas, which can tap for more mana with Etali or any creature with power 4 or greater. The usual suspects in commander decks, we have Soul Ring and Arcane Signet, joined with Cursed Mirror, which can be another way of getting an Etali trigger, but will be sacrificed to the legend rule. Also, we have Seething Song and Jessica's Will if you are really desperate. Last but not least, Topiary Stomper, Hulking Raptor, Solemn Simulacrum are another group of creatures that either give you mana or get you lands. Removal in this deck is Commander Staples and Gruul with some bombshells. Chaos Warp, which is the best red spot removal spell there is. Beast Within, which is a commander staple in terms of targeted removal. Blasphemous Act, another one of those staple commander board wipes that can be cast for cheap. Moving into the bombshells, we have Delayed Blast Fireball. If cast from exile, it's almost a one-sided board wipe. Call forth the Tempest. If it's exiled off of Etali's trigger, it will not only accrue a lot of value, but it will also be a one-sided board wipe. Flaming Tyrannosaurus will deal 3 damage to any target whenever you cast a spell from exile, which will happen a lot. And Terror of the Peaks will deal damage equal to the power of any creature that enters, including those token copies you make of Etali. These 2 creatures are fantastic for creature and player removal. I also snuck in Boseiju Who Endures for a little more flexibility in the deck. Moving on to card advantage, there isn't much as your commander provides so much value already, but we have a few cards here. Rich Card's Expertise, one of the best green draw spells there is, and lets you cast something for free. Can be very powerful if hit off Etali. Up the Beanstalk, can draw you a lot of cards when getting your commander's trigger off. Staff of Eden Vault's Key, a way to recur legendary permanents and draw a ton of cards if you cast your opponent's permanents. Moving into token creators, these are the cards that are going to make token copies of your commanders that enter the battlefield, trigger, and may get sacrificed depending on your board state. First up, we have Electro Duplicate, which can be used twice with its flashback ability, Molten Duplication, and Heat Shimmer. Moving on, we have Twin Flame, Splinter Twin, which is a little expensive these days, but I pulled one a long time ago and I finally get to use it. Echoing Assault, it's not the best of the bunch, but it secures that Etali ETB whenever he attacks. Flame Shadow Conjuring and Mirror March are great when the creatures enter. You can either pay the mana to get the copy or flip a coin. A little bit of chaos. We also have Blade of Selves, which gives Myriad to the equipped creature, which synergizes nicely with the commander. Bramble Sovereign can make tokens of other creatures entering the battlefield, not only your commander. Delina Wild Mage, great creature to attack with, especially when you have a Sword of Hearth and Home to protect it. And we have Flamewish Rider, which can be dashed. Chandra Flameshaper, plus abilities make a token or provide card advantage in mana. Mirage Phalanx, I think. Soul Binds to your commander and makes a token at the beginning of every combat. Springheart Nantuko, landfall ability that creates tokens of bestowed creature. But the best of the best are Helm of the Host, which makes a non-legendary token that can attack. Jaxus the Troublemaker, which makes a quick token that will draw you a card when it's sacrificed or dies. And Ortheon, Hero of Lavabrink. 5 Etali's go brr. Now for high synergy cardboard, we have Panharmonicon, which doubles all ETBs. This could be with your Sad Robot, your Commander, Terror of the Peaks. Next, we have Conjurer's Closure, works extremely well with Etali and other cards that care about creatures entering. Roaming Throne will double trigger all dinos in the deck, like Flaming Tyrannosaurus. Passionate Archaeologist, Keeper of Secrets, once again, Flaming Tyrannosaurus, will do a lot of damage to your opponents, especially when you're casting a lot of things from exile. Faldorn Dreadwolf Herald will create a wolf army, possibly 4 wolves off every Etali trigger. Now Fishni will copy everything casted from exile, and Wild Magic Sorcerer is a nice way to get a little extra value from casting those spells in exile. Sword of Hearth and Home is a great ramp piece that blinks creatures with powerful ETBs. Coffee, Etali. Mirror Box allows you to swing with token copies of your commander, lets you keep them so they don't get sacrificed to the legend rule. Parallel Lives will double all tokens made. There is an argument for this to be in here because of its expensive price, but I have one in the binder, so I'm going to use it. Your game enders for this deck are Rogue's Passage. If you flip Etali, this will one-shot somebody. Keeper of Secrets, Flaming Tyrannosaurus, Terror of the Peaks, Passionate Archaeologist. These spells will just all deal damage whenever you cast those spells in exile. Mirror Box plus Ortheon gives you 5 copies of Etali that you can swing. Commander damage is still a very real thing. And if you have Parallel Lives, it's not 5, it's 10. Your maybe cards for this deck are Apex Devastator. Should probably put this back in. This is nuts. Hunting Velociraptor. If you don't mind dishing out the extra money, this can get your commander out very early. Unstable Amulet is a great budget version of like a Passionate Archaeologist effect that I really like. Molten Echoes. This can be interchangeable with Mirror March, but I'll need to play more to see. Volcanic Torrent is like a Call Forth the Tempest, but not as powerful. Stryonic Residue can give you that extra trigger for 2 mana. Etali is a very fun play with yours and your opponent's decks that I look very forward to piloting. I can't wait for the moment my friends realize that they'll never let me play this deck again. Please let me know down below if I missed an important piece of cardboard or combo. As always, I'll leave the link to this deck in the description. See you in the next one, and never forget, if Etali's around, no one is safe from the chaos.